KWT slaying.
What if the truth was never lost, only buried? For centuries, historians, scholars, and even colonial records have confirmed what many tried to silence. The original Israelites were a black people scattered across continents but never erased. Their skin was dark, their customs ancient, and their covenant with Yah eternal. This journey uncovers how the Spanish and Portuguese Jews, described as dark-skinned, Semitic, shared one bloodline. Chased by the Inquisition, many fled to Portugal, then beyond, preserving their heritage across borders. But the story doesn't end in Iberia. Across from West Africa, black Jews built synagogues, kept Torah, and passed down the laws of Moses. The Limba in southern Africa, the Igbo in Nigeria, the Beta Israel in Ethiopia, tribes across the continent boldly declare, "We are the children of Israel." These aren't isolated claims. These are voices rising from the dust, connected by oral histories, Torah traditions, and the unbroken rhythm of their identity. No such legacy exists among European Jews. No centuries of tribal witness, no matching traditions, no trace of ancient covenant keeping. Maps, art, and archaeology tell the same story. The Israelites were scattered, enslaved, and displaced, but never lost. The world always knew who they were. Their presence was visible, their customs alive, their story intact. This book doesn't speculate. It confirms the Israelites were black, bound by blood, culture, and covenant to the Most High. This is not just history, it's restoration. The truth was never destroyed, only buried beneath centuries of deception. Get your copy of They Always Knew We Were Israelites today, available now on Amazon.com.
Shalom, family. Shalom, how y'all doing today? Hope you're blessed and highly favored. Before I get started, give me one if I sound okay, two if not. All right, cool. So I know y'all shocked, 2 in a row. Yeah, I got to play catch up. There's a lot of stuff I want to cover. I got that teaching I want to do on the Passover and, different things. And I wanted to talk about what we're going to talk about today because, and I'm going to put the link out later if y'all want to come on, about what's going on and, how fast things seems to be moving and the behind the scenes things that's not really getting a lot of attention. I mean, we know from the scriptures where it all going to pan out, but it's interesting, the plots and the twists, right? Almost like watching, a diagnosis murder or Murder, She Wrote. Maybe that's not a good comparison, or maybe it is. Anyway, let's get into it. All right. So Trump reportedly aims to erase slavery from African American Museum. Historians, advocates sound the alarm. Now, this is something I've been saying from the beginning, right? Even before all of this started, with the video I said they're gonna push you out. So we look at all of the things that's happening. That's sort of what I'm gonna talk about today is all of the things that's happening and how when you look behind the scenes like this, right? These types of articles and information, you can tell that the target is us. And that's what I've been saying from the very beginning. Right. So critics accuse Trump of rewriting Black history as his administration reportedly targets the slavery section of the National Museum of African American History and Culture. All right. Donald Trump is driving nationwide, is stirring. Donald Trump is stirring nationwide outrage as reports emerge that his administration is attempting to remove or reduce slavery-related content from the National Museum of African American History and Culture. I mean, that's what we've been seeing, right? It's a systematic removal of any reference to slavery, to the the dirt that they've done to us, the Jim Crow laws, the burning down of our towns, the Jim Crow laws, the redlining, all of that stuff, right? That paints them as evil. Can we say evil, family? Right? So the museum, a centerpiece of Black historical preservation located at the National Mall, has drawn millions of visitors since opening in 2016. It was championed under President Barack Obama and highlights centuries of African American history. So that's what's being erased, right? From slavery and segregation to civil rights and contemporary culture. But under Trump's second term, sources say key exhibits detailing the horrors of slavery may be altered or removed altogether. The effort is reportedly part of a larger rollback of diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives across federal agencies, including public historical institutions. All right, so everything that's Negro, everything that's Black, everything that's Israelite oriented is being removed, right? It sort of goes back, if you think about it, to like what happened during the Inquisition, right? Remember during the Inquisition, they decided, you couldn't use the word Jew no more, so they started using the word Negro, right? You couldn't celebrate on a Shabbat or Sabbath, right? You couldn't celebrate the feast days if you was a quote unquote Christian, right? And who's behind this, family? Let's ask ourselves the question, family, who's behind all of this? Could it be the Christians? I mean, that's what the MAGA folks call themselves, right? Whatever you want to say. I agree they're Christians, right? There's Christianity. Christianity is not Torah. Christianity is not Torah. And so what we're dealing with, in my opinion, is the process. I'm not saying it's going to end up the same way, but it's the process of creating an Inquisition 2.0. I mean, if you look at what's happening. So let's continue. According to sources within the Smithsonian reported by April Ryan, officials are quietly working to rally bipartisan support in hopes of preserving the museum's integrity. The urgency intensified last week when museum director Kevin Young unexpectedly stepped down. This isn't the first sign of historical revision under the current administration. A recent change to the National Park Service website quietly removed Harriet Tubman's name and replaced references to the Underground Railroad with language focused on Black-white cooperation. Critics view this as a sanitized portrayal of U.S. history designed to avoid the painful realities of racial injustice. Didn't I tell you? Anyway, they're going to push us out. They're going to push us out. I told you we're the targets. Trump has defended such changes as a way to remove ideological biases and present a more unifying version of American history. A unifying version. Does that mean a whited out version? But many see it as a direct threat to truth and accountability. The museum was established by law in 2003 and opened its doors under Obama in 2016. It stands as a powerful symbol of Black history and resilience. Attempts to alter or whitewash its narrative risk sparking public protests and legal challenges. With more than 1 million visitors in 2022 alone, the museum is not just a landmark, it's a lifeline to the truth for generations to come. And as critics warn, that truth should not be subject to political revision. All right, so that's what we have. Once again, it's political revisionism, historical revisionism as well. They don't like us. They don't like us. They're not like us. They don't like us, family. All right, let's look at this right quick. Trump simply floated the idea of deporting U.S. citizens, White House Levite said. Let's look at this right quick.
Over the weekend, President Trump said that he would be willing to have U.S. citizens deported to El Salvador with the cooperation of President Bukele. How would that work legally, and how many people would potentially be available for that operation?
So the president has discussed this idea quite a few times publicly. He's also discussed it privately. You're referring to the president's idea for American citizens to potentially be deported. These would be heinous, violent criminals who have broken our nation's laws repeatedly. And these are violent, repeat offenders in American streets. The president has said, if it's legal, right? If there is a legal pathway to do that, he's not sure. We are not sure if there is. It's an idea that he has simply floated and has discussed very publicly as in the effort of transparency.
So Egypt says they can't push us out. What do y'all think, family? They can't push us out. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said Tuesday that the Trump administration is not sure it is legal to deport U.S. citizens to El Salvador, but that Donald Trump has simply floated the idea for the sake of transparency. Trump said Sunday that he loves the idea of deporting incarcerated Americans to El Salvador, but that he doesn't know what the law says on that. A reporter had asked Trump about El Salvadorian President Nayib Bukele's offer to house American prisoners. Leavitt said, now take notice that name. Now, y'all notice that, right? Okay. Leavitt said the president had discussed the idea both privately and publicly for heinous violent criminals who have broken our nation's laws repeatedly. The president has said it is legal. If it's legal, right? If there is a legal pathway to do that, he's not sure. We're not sure if there is. It's an idea that he has simply floated and has discussed very publicly as in the effort of transparency. All right. So the question is, can they push us out? They can push us out. Don't get it twisted. Let me take a vote because I'm curious. Give me a 1 if they could push us out. Give me a 2 if they can't. I'm curious what the family think. Yep. I see a lot of 1. Okay, I see a 2 for Sister Letitia. They will make a law to do it. I see mostly 1s. I'm in agreement with the 1s. Let me tell you how they could potentially push us out. Do you want to know how? Let me tell you how. 1 is based upon what they've already been doing, crashing the economy, right? Getting rid of jobs. If you don't have a job, right, you can't provide for yourself. You can't pay for your house. You can't pay for your apartment. You're going to be homeless. That's one way they could push you out. The price of food has gone up tremendously. Another way to push you out, and the fact that you won't have a job because they done laid off everybody, right? The biggest employer of not only the U.S. citizens, but the world is the United States government, who has laid off, I don't know what percentage it is now, of people who won't have a job. That's another way to force you out. Another way that they can force you out is that all of your people who are your neighbors now, as they can't afford anything, gonna start breaking into your house and stealing your stuff. That's another way they're gonna force you out. Another way they can force you out is martial law. Okay, that's another way they can force you out. Do you want to know an additional way they can force you out? Based upon, well, we'll get to it because I'm gonna get ahead of myself. Let me move on. But there's many ways. There's many ways they can force you out, right? And it's not that hard. I guarantee you, if you can't pay your bills, you leaving. If you can't put a roof over your head, you leaving. Come on now, let's get it real. If you can't feed your family, guess what? Y'all leaving. Come on now. Do y'all not know that the corporations are buying up most of the homes? And they're going to be leasing the homes. Why? Because according to Charles Schwab or Klaus Schwab, you're going to own nothing and be happy. You're going to be on universal basic income. They can force you out. Yes, and that, let me put that up there right there, Ronnie, right there. Race war, that's coming too. That's another way they're going to force you out. Oh, that's coming. They're preparing for that. They're preparing for that. So there's many ways they can force you out. Right?
Citizens can be sent to jail in El Salvador by our government. There will be no recourse for you to be freed. I'm a lawyer in real life. I don't play one on television. And we have to talk about what is happening right now, where the American government is setting up the legal precedent for U.S. citizens to be sent to El Salvador, imprisoned, and there's nothing you will be able to do to be brought back to America. As part of the immigration crackdown, the Trump administration rounded up an El Salvadoran citizen, sent that person to El Salvador, and the person was placed in the notorious prison in El Salvador. Now, that may not seem like a problem, but the problem is that in 2019, the same individual was granted an order from a court in the United States that said he could not be sent to El Salvador. So it was an error on the part of the Trump administration to send him there. They have acknowledged this error. But the Trump administration refuses to bring the person back from El Salvador. And now a judge has ordered them to bring this individual back from El Salvador, and the Trump administration has appealed to the United States Supreme Court. Let me explain to you why, if the United States Supreme Court says this man does not have to be brought back from El Salvador, U.S. citizens can find themselves in the exact same position. So this is the Trump administration's argument that they cannot instruct the government or the executive branch, the president, to bring someone back to the United States when they have been sent to a foreign country. And their argument is that the Constitution only gives the president the power to negotiate with foreign countries. And that is true. Now, they refer specifically to the district court, but without saying it, they are also implying that there is no court, not a district court, not a court of appeals, and not the Supreme Court of the United States that could order the president to bring this person back to the U.S. Here's how this argument affects me and you, United States citizens. According to this argument, if the Trump administration were to arrest United States citizens, say people who are protesting outside of a Tesla dealership, send them to El Salvador to be imprisoned. Once you are on foreign soil, they are arguing that a court cannot then order the administration to bring you back. Because at that point, once you're on foreign soil, the only person, according to the Trump administration, who then has the authority to negotiate with a foreign government to try to get your release from this foreign government would be the government that sent you there, would be the Trump administration. So can you now understand how this could be such a dangerous precedent? So today they are sending immigrants to a foreign prison. Tomorrow, if this ruling is allowed, it could be U.S. citizens sent to a foreign prison. Courts will not be able to do anything about it. So far, the Supreme Court has not ruled, but the Supreme Court has paused the district court's order to bring this person back. So what happens is going to be very important, because it is either going to give the Trump administration the green light to continue and to go further, or it's going to slow them down. It's going to tell them that this is not acceptable, that not only can you not treat immigrants this way, but you cannot treat American citizens this way.
All right. So the question is, what do you think gonna happen? So Sister Letitia says they really don't want us out because they need us as continuation of slaves. No, they don't. They don't need us. You do know they have AI, right? They have robots now, right? Who's smarter and faster than most of us. They can do things that most of us can't do. What do they need us for? This is why they're doing what they're doing. They don't need us, right? Now, remember, according to the Georgia Guidestones, they're going to keep the population in perpetual, 500 million, I think it is, according to what the Georgia Guidestones says. So that's because they knew that most people would be replaced by AI and by bots, right? And so they also have the plan of integrating humanity with the robots and with transhumanism, right? Through the transhumanist technology, like what Elon Musk had, right? So my question to you is, okay, if they start doing this, right, you start seeing people disappearing and being sent to El Salvador, what you gonna do? You gonna flee or you gonna stay? I'm just asking, right? See, the whole idea is that our people think we're going to come together and fight. Well, that's not going to happen. Not right away anyway. See, our people, I told you the way our people are, the only way we fight is if you stand in front of my face and I see you the one that hit me. If I slap you from behind on the back of the neck, you turn around and you see several people behind you. Our people, the way we are, just the way we are, we're not going to beat up everybody. Right? We only beat up the people we know is the enemy. And they'll never let us know straight up who's the enemy, which is why we'll never unite. Which is why, even as you see what this administration is doing, even the white folks can't do nothing, right? They go out there and they protest. They sing their version of "We Shall Overcome," right? With no police interference, right? April 5th was a joke. April 5th was a waste of time. Without black folks, there's no change. Why? Because you know what happens when black folks protest? People are deleted. People cry. There's pain. There's confrontation. It's all in the media. And them folks start feeling some kind of way. Them folks start saying, you know what? I mean, we don't like black folks and all, but all of this is too much, right? The setting of the dogs on us and the spraying with water cannons. And now they got worse than that, right? This is just the way it is. So if you think you're going to be protected based upon the Constitution, you're sorely mistaken. Because the Constitution says you can be a slave so long as you are imprisoned for a crime. Now, for this whole thing with the U.S. citizens and the deportation to El Salvador, they said violent criminals, right? Don't believe that. It's going to be the same thing like with the vagrancy laws, right? And guess who the majority of people went to jail for vagrancy laws? I'm just asking. It's nothing new. It's the same old playbook. And our people, we're so deluded by the idea that this could never happen again when obviously they're removing any constitutional protections. Yes, the Constitution is done. There is no more Constitution. Not that it really applied to us. But, the removal of the Constitution applies to them as well. And understand what we see happening, and this is something, when I put the link out, Egypt, if you want to come on, you can. We could discuss this. The only way we will be moved is by Yahuwah only. Well, I told y'all the Bible says flee. The Bible says deliver yourself, O Zion, that dwelleth with the daughter of Babylon. I'm just saying, I believe the scripture, so I ain't got to make nothing up. I ain't got to reinterpret things. The Bible says you got to make that decision. Deliver yourself. Did that say the Most High gonna just drag you out of here? He already told you, leave, deliver yourself. I'm just saying, a lot of people ain't gonna make it. I agree with people who say that. A lot of people ain't making it out. That's my opinion. And I don't think there's much time left, but hey.
He definitely has plans to hold and deport United States citizens that engage in political beliefs that he does not like. It's so much worse than I even predicted, and I feel sick to my stomach making this video. Because not only is Trump looking to deport US citizens, he revealed that he's working on a deal to send US citizens to El Salvador, sell them to El Salvador as slaves. This prison is called CCOT, and it's a maximum security prison which allows no visitation, no recreation, no education, no media coverage, and no prisoner releases ever. So given the fact that they just lost someone in El Salvador that a court ordered they have to bring back and they can't get him back, how likely do you really think it's going to be that they're going to be able to, oh, your prison sentence is up, let's send this guy back to America? No, absolutely not. I bet they can't even distinguish who's who at that prison. CCOP prisoners are never allowed outside, and they're told in advance that they'll die there, which means that there's an extremely high suicide rate. There is only 2 cubic feet of space to live in per prisoner. That's how crowded it is. And let's put that into perspective for a second, because a coffin you bury someone in is 4.5 cubic feet. Half the space of a coffin is what they're giving these people to live in. No one in the mainstream media is talking about this, and this is why they're trying so hard to replace activist judges so that they can freely send whoever they want to these concentration camps, sell them as slaves to El Salvador, even if you're in America.
I find it very interesting that, once again, the Israelite community proven right. Now, right now is Venezuelan. So, what I did, I said, let me go see who the Venezuelans are. What is their history? They enslaved us too, right? They're descendants of the Spanish. The Venezuelans are descendants of the Spaniards. The first ones, along with the Portuguese who enslaved the Israelites. Isn't that interesting? Isn't it interesting that according to the Hebrew Israelite community, we have said that Gentiles is going into captivity. Now, I'm not going to deny that we're the targets. Yes, we're the targets. But according to the scripture, we're leaving. We're going to be fleeing. Some of the Israelites think we're going to be in that second Exodus, just floating on clouds on the way out. It ain't going to work that way. Right? But it's interesting that even they're noticing that this is leading to slavery. Now, Tail Ministries has been teaching this for a long time now. You go watch our old videos, but a lot of people think it's racist because we taught that Gentiles going into captivity. We say, no, that's what the Bible teaches. And if you don't repent, you're going into slavery. If you don't attach yourself to Israel, you're going into slavery. And guess what? Doesn't it look like that's happening? Yes or no? Give me a yes, give me a no. I mean, I'm just saying. Looks like it to me, right?
selling migrants as slaves, and not enough people are talking about it. In the last week or so, he struck up a $6 million deal with El Salvador to send 238 Venezuelan migrants to the Siquot maximum security. Claims that they're all criminals and they have criminal records when most of them don't. Once you're sent to Siquot, you are forced to work every single day. You have no other choice. You are forced into slave labor. You only have 30 minutes a day outside of your prison cell. Each prison cell holds around 80 to 100 people, forced to sleep on metal bunk beds without any kind of mattress. The only way you can get out of Siquot is in a coffin. There's no other way you can leave. There's no due process. Once you're sent there, it's over. Trump administration even admitted to accidentally sending an innocent man that had legal documentation from Maryland. He's a father of a little child into Siquot, and then they said, whoops, we can't do anything about it. Maryland court said that they don't have any jurisdiction over El Salvador. Basically, he's stuck there for no reason. I think more people need to talk about the fact that America is literally engaging in slave trade now. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Make sure.
So once again, this goes to show that there's no laws, right? There's no more law to protect you. And, you know, the laws that were there to protect citizens of the U.S. did not apply to Negroes, right? It applied to white folks. But even they're losing the protections of the Constitution and even the local laws, right? Because America had been taken over by an oligarchy.
We had a court order to bring Kilmer Garcia home April 7th, 2025 by midnight. That's today. Chief Justice Roberts has come out today and has declared that order non-go, meaning that we might not have the authority to declare the Trump administration bring Kilmer Garcia back to America. Now, what that means to you as an American citizen in 2025 living under the Alien Enemies Act is that you are an enemy of the state. That is what I want Kilmer Garcia to teach you. You are an enemy of the state. Because at any point in time, an ICE agent can abduct you. Once that ICE agent abducts you, they can then traffic you out of state without giving you access to your legal counsel. Once you're out of state, no access to legal counsel, you are in ICE custody. You are an enemy of the state under the Alien Insurrection Act, or Alien Enemies Act. That means that you can be deported. Now, once that's done, if that was done in error, Chief Justice Roberts has pretty much said, it's okay, we don't care, we're not going to come get you. In America, in 2025, ICE agents act as judge and jury when they abduct people, traffic them, deport them, without doing their due diligence, without giving and granting due process. And when it's all said and done and fucked sideways and needs to be corrected, the Supreme Court comes out and says, nah, it's done.
I told you there's no more laws, right? You don't have a right to due process. Habeas corpus is done. No need to bring you before your accuser. Theoretically, if you jaywalk, they can grab you, call you a criminal, send your butt straight to El Salvador, and even if it's against the local laws and your attorney say bring you back, they don't have to do it. But you're not going to flee, right? You're not going to leave, right? Look, I'm not telling you to do anything. I just need you to wake up and be ready to do and be prepared to whatever it is. I just don't understand why people can't see the writing on the wall. I just don't get it.
Right now, a federal judge has just agreed with the Trump administration, ordering all undocumented migrants to register with the federal government by Friday or face possible major repercussions. Judge Trevor McFadden issued this ruling moments ago. He is a Trump appointee. Registration will be mandatory for anyone over the age of 14 years old. They will have to provide their fingerprints and their address. The parents and legal guardians of those under the age of 14 must ensure that they are registered as well, and if they fail to do so, and they could face possible fines and even criminal prosecution by the federal government. This is going to be done to aid the Trump administration's efforts to conduct mass deportations across the country more quickly. It'll give the Trump administration information like addresses and fingerprints of undocumented migrants living in the United States, even if they have no criminal history. This requirement will go into effect in one day. I'll do a full break.
Do y'all remember the saying from World War II? And I'm going to do my own paraphrase of it, you know, because I don't remember it directly. Well, you know, I'm going to just put it my way. All right. They came for the libertarians, and I wasn't a libertarian, so I didn't worry about it. They came for the unionists. I wasn't a unionist, so I didn't do anything about it. They came for the Jews. I wasn't a Jew, so I didn't do anything about it. And then when they came for me, there was no one left. Is this not the same thing we're seeing? I'm like, you know, Elon Musk did a Nazi salute for a reason. There's no more laws. There's no more constitution.
Why ICE is wearing bandanas, hats, and sunglasses instead of uniforms, badges, and showing their faces. It's really simple. Because the church, the government, is about to start deploying their department of white supremacists to do martial law and go around doing that to people like you and me. So that on a Tuesday, when your cousin, brother, sister, anyone, coworker is snatched, grabbed, kidnapped, and their rights are stripped, their phones are taken, and no one knows where they went, it's normalized. That's why. This is exactly like World War II and the Holocaust. This is the exact same thing. And if you're not sure about that, all you have to do is take the Project 2025 document and drop it into ChatGPT. Ask it how it affects you. Anyone that goes along with this, I'm sorry, your soul's already caught on fire.
So this is the reason why a lot of Gentiles, the ones who are able to, are leaving the country. Because they see it, right? Right now, I get it. Right? It's like, what are your options, right? You know, it's like, I don't have no money. I can't go nowhere. You know, I get it. And, you know, that's where we rely on the Most High. But what I'm saying, don't think that we're not going to have to deal with troubling times, that we won't have to probably come together and stand strong, if y'all know what I'm saying. Y'all get it, right?
The deal is finished. The IRS just finished striking a deal with the Department of Homeland Security, which means that they will now be sharing confidential data about undocumented migrants who pay taxes, their names, their social security numbers, their address, so that way they could speed up mass deportations. And remember, they just got the go-ahead yesterday because the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the administration to speed up mass deportations under the Aliens and Enemies Act. And this comes today as the administration announced that there would be a $998 fee for every single undocumented migrant who does not deport themselves, which means that a single undocumented migrant could get up to $1 million in American debt due to that. And then on top of that, again, the president announced today that he wants to drone strike Mexico in terms of wanting to seek drug cartels, and Mexico has already pushed against that.
All right, so now the IRS is sending information for the immigrants. Now, you know, and if they're here and they don't deport themselves, it's $900-something a day, right? Which means you're going to be a criminal, which means they can take you and send you to El Salvador. Now, if you think about what's happening, like I've said from day one, you're not protected because you're a United States citizen. You might think you're protected because you're a United States citizen, but you're not. Why? Because the Constitution doesn't matter anymore. The law does not matter anymore. I know y'all not going to see it till it's too late, until you're the one left standing. And because you wasn't a unionist, you didn't do anything. And then when they came for you, no one was left. That's where we're at. That's what you're going to deal with. I know y'all don't like to hear this, but I mean, it's the end times, right? This is Revelation chapter 12, family, in case you didn't know. The dragon was angry with the woman. That's why I keep telling you, you're the target. It's obvious. But they have to go through the low-hanging fruit. They have to remove the low-hanging fruit. Why? Because they have to remove from the people's mind the idea of constitutional protections, right? Legal protections. They're gone. It's just removing it from the minds of the people. So even if you don't have a constitutional amendment and you overturn the 13th and the 14th Amendment, they're going to do it anyway. I guarantee you, don't be surprised if they bring in the Dred Scott decision. But you're going to say, well, the Dred Scott decision was overturned by the 13th and 14th Amendments. I told you there's no Constitution anymore. See, this is the deception, and this is what our people sit under, because our people don't know no better. We don't know no better. We're the same people who let them on the continent anyway. Hey, guess what? We're Christians. We want to tell you all about Jesus. Oh, and by the way, here's some rum. Y'all want some rum? Oh, tell us about your family, your community, and your history. We're very interested in your oral traditions. Then, 50 to 100 years later, here they come with their armies and enslave your tail, right? Same thing. Same old, ain't nothing new. Happening again.
A massive discovery by Doge, by Elon Musk, Department of Government Efficiency. What do you think it is? What do you think it could be?
And then the president on Thursday told us that there was an incredible discovery that the Doge team had made. He called it horrible and incredible. Can you reveal that yet? Give us details on what it was about?
There has been a discovery. I hate to leave you hanging on a cliff, but I don't want to get ahead of the president on that. But I can confirm there has been a discovery. It's just not quite yet ready for release.
Horrible, and incredible. A discovery that the Doge team has made. Maybe. What was this? Devory Darkins posted this one that says, wow, DOGE has found that the government gave illegals work authorization paperwork just a few months after filing for asylum here in the U.S., allowing them to work in this country for years before their legal hearing. The immigration department mailed them a social security card without any interview or identity verification. And it gets worse.
Fox to reveal what's really going on. Doge exposed our immigration asylum disaster. That was the tip of the iceberg. Now, here's the story. Doge has found that immigration gave a work authorization document to illegals just 5 months after they filed for asylum. That document allowed them to work while they waited to hear whether their asylum request had been accepted or denied. So they could work as an illegal, knowing it would take years before their case was heard. The immigration department mailed them a social security number. No interview, no proof of identity. Just put it in the mail. Here's your number. In 2021, Doge says 270,000 new aliens were issued social security numbers, 590,000 in 2022, 964,000 in 2023, and 2.1 million in 24, right before Biden left office. Doge also discovered that 1.3 million aliens are now receiving Medicaid. Millions received driver's licenses, some registered to vote, and Doge says some actually did vote. Try and square that against Democrat claims that Musk is destroying Social Security and cutting Medicaid. He's not destroying, he's weeding out people who don't qualify. Who is really guilty of misinformation in this case? It is not Elon Musk.
Look, what the previous administration did was not constitutional either, right? Giving these people, Social Security and allowing them to vote was not according to the Constitution, but guess what? It doesn't matter. It didn't matter for the previous administration, and it does not matter for this administration. That's why if you're under the delusion that because you're a United States citizen, that you're safe, good luck. Don't leave the house without your papers. Right? This is Nazi Germany 2.0. If you leave the house without your papers and you get pulled over by ICE, they can take your butt, put you in detention, until you can prove who you are, or they can send you straight to El Salvador and nobody can get you back, even though it's an error, like Garcia.
It's official. Our tax dollars are now going to be used to fund DHS scouring our social media posts in order to find evidence to deport people. In case you missed it, this is directly off of the government's website. The Department of Homeland Security will be utilizing technology to go through social media posts in an attempt to identify anti-Semitic comments and or content. That information will then be used as evidence necessary to deport people or revoke visas and possibly even green card status here in the United States. I intended to do a post today about the Alien Enemies Act and the most recent Supreme Court decision, but instead I'm doing this post because I think that this is germane to a lot of people out there. Now, what does anti-Semitic mean for purposes of this issue? Obviously, you should not be saying anti-Semitic things. That's just like a terrible thing anyway. But this administration has historically interpreted any pro-Palestine, pro-Gaza commentary as anti-Semitic. We've seen that young student from Tufts who had her visa revoked on her way to dinner with friends because she published an op-ed with the school's paper. We've also seen that South Korean student who participated in a couple of pro-Palestine rallies. That was enough to get her visa revoked. My point is, wherever you stand on this issue, it does not take a lot for this administration and the agencies working under that administration to determine that your visa should be revoked. Now, when we talk about social media content, what does that even mean? It's not limited to those people who are posting every single day about Gaza. All you need to have posted is one post that this administration deems anti-Semitic, and you can potentially have your visa revoked. It doesn't even require posting. If you have commented on another person's post that can potentially be deemed pro-Palestine and or anti-Semitic, you can have your visa revoked. Like I said, this may not even be limited to visas. It can be expanded to green card holders. This administration has repeatedly indicated that that is as much a unilateral decision as visa revocation. What does all of this mean? It means if you're a visa holder or a green card holder, potentially even a naturalized citizen of the United States, I would go through all your social media posts. I would go through even the comments that you have made on other people's social media posts. These are your Instagram stories. These are your posts on your feed. These are your TikToks, obviously. And like I said, even those comments, if there's anything that potentially sounds either anti-Semitic, which let's hope that it doesn't, because honestly, you're not a good person if it is, and or pro-Palestine, pro-Gaza, you may want to consider deleting them right now. This video is not a commentary about the First Amendment, free speech, authoritarianism, fascism. That's not what this is. This is just a PSA. Like I said, if you are a green card holder, a visa holder, and you have in the past made comments that are either pro-Palestine and or anti-Semitic, which let's hope that's not the case, now is the time to maybe start cleaning that up. As somebody who talks about these issues almost nonstop for the past 2 months, I'm a natural born United States citizen. My parents were naturalized decades and decades ago. You'd think that I was safe. I don't personally feel safe, okay? But one thing that I've started doing periodically just to see like, hey, am I on anyone's radar? I have global entry. I travel a lot internationally for work, and my husband is Italian American and he has a lot of family in Italy. So we go back and forth to Italy a lot. And as a result of that, I've had global entry for many, many, many years. I've also had TSA PreCheck for many, many, many years. I have recently started checking my status with global entry every few weeks, assuming that if I was on somebody's radar, that would be revoked. If you have global entry or if you have TSA PreCheck and you're worried about your status, that's something that you may want to keep an eye on, because let me tell you, the administration, DHS, they have not been providing any notice of visa or green card revocation to all of these people that have been detained and subsequently deported. So I wouldn't count on that. These are really frightening times. And I empathize with your fear and your anxiety, but the best thing that you can do in these types of situations is to stay informed. It's a
Did y'all notice? She each time had to say, if you're anti Semitic and you should not be. Y'all notice that, right? She's trying to protect herself because she understands that we're no longer in a free society with free speech. So she like, this is just a public service announcement. But if you're anti-Semitic and you shouldn't be, right? Now, the determination of who is anti-Semitic is by them, not by us, right? There's nothing that really, unless you go to ADL or one of them other sites. But do y'all remember, give me a one if you remember the Israeli woman who said the biggest danger to Israel is the young black youth. Give me one if you remember that too, if you don't. The biggest danger to the Israeli community is the young blacks. So with that being said, if that's the biggest danger to them, who do you think they're coming for anti-Semitism? Could it be those folks who believe that they are the true Hebrew Israelites of the Bible? What do you think, y'all? What do you think? Yes or no? You think they're going to be coming for those who are calling themselves the bloodline descendants of the covenant people? We in Revelation 12, almost there, pretty much. We almost there, if not in it. I think we in it. I don't know if y'all saw the video. There was a video by the president of the European Union, and her name is Ursula von der Leyen. Right? Ursula von der Leyen. And in that particular video, she stated that they get a lot of their beliefs and their laws and the way to live from the Talmud. That's what she said. That's Ursula, head of the president of the European Union, Ursula von der Leyen. She said they get their information and their laws from the Talmud. Now, isn't it very interesting that with all of that comes the Noahide laws, right? I hope y'all know about the Noahide laws. We've talked about that in the past. That's what's about to be implemented is the Noahide laws. That's what all of this is about. And all of this is coming to a head. And be honest with you, it's sort of, I don't know, it's sort of frustrating that, I don't know if it's frustrating, but after a point in time, it's like you see everything that this ministry has been teaching, right? And it makes sense now why we get so much pushback, right? So much hate, because the line is being drawn. There's no longer going to be a gray area of which side you're going to take is going to be black and white. You're on the Most High side or you're not. Some of these Israelites, the ones who deny Yeshua's divinity, they're going to compromise. The Noahide laws is what's coming. I'm going to put the link out there. If y'all want to come on, we could talk a little bit. If not, I could end it early. I'm not going to pin it. So if you want to come on, there's the link. Right. So based upon what we see happening right now, my estimate is that let's say by July, August, you won't recognize America. Right? Because the Alien Enemies Act has been implemented. And you're a slave, Neo. Hi, Sister Kel. How you doing?
I'm well, brother Yakoba. How are you?
I'm blessed. What do you think about all this stuff?
Um, it's very crazy. It's interesting though. My family has been watching your content for years, and I don't know if you remember this, but maybe it was either at the end of the Obama administration or during Trump's administration, but they started tearing down the statues from like the Civil War quote unquote heroes. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Was that I thought it was Obama. No, I mean, not Obama, Biden. I thought it was Biden back in 2020 or something. Am I wrong about that?
It was around that time. I want to say it was
Okay.
during a transitional period between the two presidencies, but
Okay.
you could tell even at that time that they were starting to erase our history, and a lot of Black people championed it at the time, but you could tell that there was a reason why they were doing that, and it was celebrated in the community. But now we can see the full circle almost of those actions even from back then, because they are really closing a net around us.
Yeah, I agree with that. Sister Chantel, welcome.
Shalom, shalom. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
I literally just came on. I just turned on YouTube and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to come on. Did you get my 1 hour and 10-minute message?
Yeah, I listened to it.
There might have been a lot of rambling. I don't know. I like to talk, so I'll try not to go on too much. But wow, there is. I don't even know where to begin with everything that's going on in your country, which is affecting the everywhere else. I mean, your president is a nut job, and that's putting it mildly. Your president is a nut job. The whole world.
I hope you're not traveling to the U.S. soon, Sister Chantel.
I have no intention to, none whatsoever. If I end up there, it's probably because I've been kidnapped and dumped, but I have no intention of going there. I'm so sorry. Actually, I was saying something to some other people, and I was saying, I always wanted to, actually, everybody wanted to go to America because it was the land of opportunity. It was the land of Hollywood. It was everything we've been shoved in our faces. And so from our perspective, you guys lived, it was like walking on the streets of gold, but now it's like the rest of the world is just looking and it's like, what's going on in America? And it's funny because the whole world is literally turning its back on America. And although I've seen videos where they've said, "Oh, we still love you. Still, this is not American people. It's just here's following the script." Yeah, I agree. But they're kind of allowing him to it's like, okay, Donald, just play your part and play it well. But it's almost like they kind of allow them to come in, or it's almost like they don't want Americans in their soil. They'll say that on social media, like, "Oh, we're for Americans. It's not. We have a problem with your administration, not with you." But if we're going to be honest, most people find Americans very arrogant and conceited, and loud and brash. And we're not talking, they like to point their fingers at Black Americans, quote unquote, but it's not Black Americans that have had the privilege of traveling around the world only until recently. This is something that has been established from them. Most Europeans don't want the so-called Europeans in their country, regardless of, and at the end of the day, what do they say? Well, I'm European, I'm American, so stay where you are. But now it's like they really want to leave, you know. And I've always said that the two places that America has to really watch its back with, and I've said this on Caris's so many times, is Canada and Japan and Korea, but Japan in it, you know. And we've seen what's been going on with Canada, because obviously you guys have got the proximity and everything, and you need Canada. Nobody wants to talk about it, but you need Canada. And then you have what's going on. You need Japan, because Japan and South Korea, without those two powers, it's like the interests of America in the South China Sea, they can't stretch, so they need allies over there. But it's like Esau has kind of pushed so far in terms of creating hostility between brother, because that's what he does. He turns brother against brother. But it's like, I'm like, how long did you think they were going to continue? You was going to continue turning them against one another? How long was you going to use Japan to the point where you broke their economy? And when they could have turned their economy around, you said, no, don't you do that, right? So that they now have no exactly, they need their revenge, so that now they have no choice but to dump your US bonds and turn and make an alliance with the people that are basically their kin. I mean, America is literally on its own, and she's turning not only just the Far East, but also Europe. You're turning Europe against you, and that's actually supposed to be your kin. When I say you know who I'm talking about, because in reality, the only people who are Americans are those people. So, yeah, I'm sorry if I've spoken quite a bit, but
that's okay. That's short in comparison.
that is short. That is short. I do like a what's it a verbal well, you write your book, I speak my book.
I feel you. I get it. But I enjoy the conversation, so I don't even be mad.
That's cool.
All right. Thanks, Sister Chantel. Sister Egypt.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Yes, my main focus was on the fact that I believe that we being the creator's people, we are Yahuwah's people. We're not. The only time we're gonna leave is when He say leave. We're not supposed to leave before He leave. Because I think of all the times when they packed up and went over here to these countries and they were put in jail and they were burnt out of their homes and their land was taken from them. That was my only, difference with we're gonna be out of here. It's not like they just started today, this year, when Trump got in there trying to get us up out of here. They've been doing that since they walked up on this land and saw all black cells here. They have been trying to get us up out of here, and they have not. It's not like it's a new created thing. For them, I'm gonna make a law now. I'm gonna make y'all disappear. They cannot. It's not like they don't want to. They cannot, because we go under a whole other law. Regardless of the laws that man has made, we are the greater law, which is the law of Yahuwah. And they can't override that. They can't oversee that. No matter what law they make, they cannot get over under or around that one. That was my only thing to say about that. But other than that, everything else is good.
So let me ask you a question, Sister Egypt. So you believe the scriptures, right?
All the way.
And the Bible says, deliver thyself, O daughter of Babylon. I mean, daughter of Zion that dwells amongst the daughter of Babylon. What do you think that means?
That means get from amongst them. But not, you don't have, what I'm saying is, that being said is also said, be in this world, but not of this world. It's basically saying the same thing. I have to be here. I have to know the things to get me through and to live day-to-day life with understanding and wisdom. But I don't have to take on the same things this world offer. You understand what I'm saying? I don't have to
I
do what
got you.
Babylon do, but I have to live in Babylon. I woke up, came out of
Let
my
me
mama's
let me
womb in
ask you this.
Babylon.
Let me ask you this question. If
Yes.
your electricity goes out, your water goes out, and there's a lack of food, and there's crimes in the streets, what you gonna do?
I should have been prepared. That's where
Okay, I
preparing.
agree with that.
The word
I
speaks
agree
of
with
being
that.
prepared. But
I
it's
agree
not
with
going to
that.
get me up out of this country because I'm without these things. I should have
All
prepared
right.
for these things. You knew they were coming. You saw the signs. You saw the warnings. You should have been
So
prepared. But that is not going to get me to just up and jump on whatever game you playing and get up out of here. No.
so when the Bible tells you to flee so that the plagues
Oh,
won't
yes, of
fall on
course.
you,
When the Exodus, I'm all for the Exodus. There will be an
but
Exodus.
that
But when we
but
flee,
fleeing
we will be prepared when we go. Our destination will
but
be prepared for us. But if we
but
flee on
fleeing
our
is not
own accordance, we're going into the unknown without the
but
spirit of
flee
the Almighty.
flee is not the same as the Exodus.
Well, I mean, of course, your house on fire, what you gonna do? Sit in while it's burning. But he's
There
not
you
saying
go.
go right.
That's all I want. That's all I want. That's all I'm trying to get you to see. If the house is on fire, you got to get out the house. That's all I'm saying.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, Sister Egypt.
Thank you. Bye
Uh,
bye.
all right. Threedus.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Yakoba.
Did
Shalom,
I pronounce your
everybody.
name correct?
Yes, you did. I'm proud of you.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Normally they don't. They oh, my name is butchered. But anyways, yes, I wanted to say that I've watched your show for since I've woken up for a few years, and I'm very thankful because I've learned a lot more about the Bible and the true words more so than Sunday school and everything. So I just wanted to start off with there. But seeing all the things that is happening, sometimes I'm not in a great mood, seeing the things that's happening. I love how the Most High is, showing up for us. My thing is, of course, I want it to happen now, but, of course, there's all things that need to happen. But I just wanted to bring into the conversation. Has anybody seen, like, there's so many posts where people are like, hey, can y'all tell us what American or what people outside of America are thinking about us? The comments have been crazy. When I say they're calling Americans morons, we should have never put Trump in there. We should have, had a revolution. Everybody should be fighting. We should be I mean, they expect literally all of us to round up and just throw Trump out of office. So technically, they're blaming it on us and saying that we stay in this bubble, which I agree with. A lot of Americans, they stay in this bubble and they don't, um, they don't know necessarily what goes on outside of the America. So just seeing these comments and seeing the things that are happening, when I tell you, it's just it's awesome in a way, and then I'm mad because I want it now. I want people to stop the reproaches now. I want them to stop talking about us now. I want our people to get together and unite now. But of course things don't work like that. But that's what I wanted to say about that topic. And also, like, to speak along the lines of what Sister Egypt was speaking about. I do believe, yes, we'll have to flee. And I mean, the Bible says that those are the words. I also believe that he's not gonna the trumpets will sound. He's not going to do anything without letting his prophets know. So I think there's going to come a time where we're all going to be on the same page and be like, look, we have to get out of here. I know it'll be, I still believe it'll be a flee refugee type situation. However, we'll all be on the same accord, you know so, like Gates said, we should just focus on what Yah is doing and not what the enemy is doing. We should be focusing on how he turns around everything that they're trying to do for our destruction, for our good. So, I just wanted to say that. And thank you for the show and for coming up here. And speaking to
Okay,
the
thank you.
people.
Thank you for coming on for the first time, Treatise. Appreciate it.
No problem. No problem.
All right. So, Sister Chantel, quick question for you. Based
Yeah.
upon what's happening here, and I noticed in the past there were some, let's say, some free speech issues in the UK. What's happening there? Are you all increasing totalitarianism as here, or are you all sort of, middle line?
June, I tell you what it is, and I think Uncle Asaph would probably say the same thing. Whatever is happening, the free speech, it doesn't seem to be affecting us. It's not affecting us. It does, however, seem to be affecting them. And that's another thing that I was interested in. Sister, was it Threatus? Sorry, I'm going to get her name
Yeah.
wrong, so I don't want. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
you said it right. Yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry, sister, but she mentioned that there was a lot of people across the world, and that's new to me. Where they're calling them morons and saying you should go and that because it's like, who are you talking about? That was my question. What Americans? Because when I say Americans, um, when I say Americans, I think everybody knows exactly who I'm talking about. When they say Americans, we all know who they're talking about. Now that things are going wrong, now they're saying we all need to do the work. And it's like, no. Like if somebody's walking their dog and their dog happens to take a dump on the ground, should somebody else go and pick it up? Or should you be the one to go clean it up? Why would I go and scoop the poop after you just left it? Why would I do that? You made the mess, you go clean it up. We've always been doing that. And we don't have to do it anymore. And that's what's really annoying them. In fact, it's not even just annoying them, it hurts them. And the funny thing is, I find that I've noticed there's two communities that haven't actually been that have said very little. And that's that community. And then there's the other A community. The other A community, which has profited from having their stores in black communities, they can't say anything. What can you say? You had and still to this day have the model citizen or the model, and not only that, you also got rid of affirmative action. So you have nothing to say. You've got no complaints to give. There's nothing you could possibly say. And as for the other people, they're very quiet, aren't they? They're not saying anything. But then, having said that, I've noticed that nobody seems to care about them anymore. Then they're not the shiny little thing that everybody seems to love and wants to protect anymore, because you've put so much of your dirt out there that everybody is now they see you for what you are. On top of the bully that you had on the string, on the leash, the rest of the world is turning their backs on them as well. So you don't have no protection. So you better make sure that you keep stum.
So let me ask you this right quick. Based upon what you're seeing from the UK to what's happening here, does it look like the fulfillment of the scripture where they're going to look for Israel's guilt and not find it? Because if you look at it, we're the ones who said, don't vote for Trump. We didn't vote for Trump. And everybody like, yeah, we should have listened to the black folks. And it looked like the white folks is their fault, right? I'm just saying.
Listen, I was just saying this to my mum just yesterday, that we are seeing the fulfillment of these scriptures. They're going to look for Israel's guilt and not find it. And it's literally where everything that they're doing to try to get Israel on the streets everything they're doing to say you're not helping, why aren't you helping, or coming to our people and saying this and the other, that's them looking for our guilt, and they can't find it.
Yeah. Yep.
Everything that they do, and it's like we're just watching. It's like I'm not only that I'm so proud, and I've said this before. I'm so proud of our people, because those who are very much in the secular space, in the political arena, who are very active in that, they're now starting to understand you can't go to Egypt and expect Egypt, the house of bondage, to try to what? Loosen the chains? What did you think was going to happen? You can't go to those who have oppressed you. You can't go to those who have built their system on you and say, okay, we're going to loosen that system, because that system is you are what's keeping that system going. The minute you're gone, it collapses. The minute they give you reparation, it collapses. In fact, it has been collapsing from the minute they set you free. It's just been incrementally been collapsing. It was always going to collapse. It was never going to last. So it's like, they're now understanding we can't operate with these people. And it's like, for once, we are starting to see the two sticks coming together. And there's a lot of duality in the Bible that people are like, we're always taught by the Christian church, oh, you shouldn't believe in duality, but there's duality in the Bible, from the fact that you have two tablets of stone, for the fact that you have the Old Testament and New Testament, for the fact that you have Jacob and Esau, for the fact that you have Israel and Judah. And you're seeing, not only are you just seeing, there is so much coming together in your space. You've got this side coming with that side coming together. You've got the diaspora all coming together. And then you've got, once the diaspora comes together, then you've got the diaspora, which is, you got Judah coming together with the motherland. That's how it's all going to play out. And for me, when I see this, it's like, it is such a hallelujah moment, because it's like, I watch this and I'm like, we are living in not only the prayers of our forefathers, who had to go through the abuse that they went through, and now having their names and their history and everything that they fought, they died, they lived and died for, erased like they never existed. That's an insult. That's an insult, right? To erase them from history is an insult. They're literally trying to do the same thing. Sorry, I'm sorry, I'm going to, but they're trying to do the same thing again, where they're erasing you. I think you said the Spanish Inquisition again. The Spanish Inquisition, that wasn't even the first time they've done it. They constantly and consistently, what do you think the Greeks did with Egypt? You think it was just Egypt that they tore down and burnt? They did that with Jerusalem. They've always constantly, that's their modus operandi. They literally burn, they tear down and burn, kill, steal, and destroy. If I can't, if I can't kill you, I'm gonna destroy. And if I can't own it and I can't kill you, I keep saying that word, I'm going to burn it all. I'm going to destroy it. That's their way. That is their way. And we're seeing all of this happening, and they're trying to erase our people. But one thing they fail to recognize and understand is that you can tear down all the monuments, you can eradicate all the books, you can tear down all, you can close down the museums and get rid of all the relics. We are the word. We are the voice. We are the voice that cries in the wilderness. We are the oracles of the word. Our DNA is literally the word. So no matter what you do, because when we speak, mountains move. So I don't understand why they're trying. I understand, but they can keep trying to do what they're doing. It's going to fail. And I'm not stressing. I'm not upset. I relish and I welcome it, because you are fulfilling prophecy, because I know, you little demons, how your sticky end is coming. And I say hallelujah to that. Anyway.
Yeah, I find it interesting that as the Israelites awaken, the Bible becomes so much clearer. I'm like really it's like I can read it now. It's like it's an open book. The cryptography is gone almost for the most part, right?
Mm,
And all the symbolisms are making sense because once you know who the people are, that's sort of that's the key to everything.
that
And
really was.
yeah, and one of the things and I mentioned in my last show, I think it was my last show. I can't keep track of everything about the Ark of the Covenant. And the Ark of the Covenant had the tablets of stone, it had Aaron's rod, and it had manna. And
Mm,
you got the law and you got the rod of correction, but also it's the rod or the scepter that doesn't depart from Judah that's gonna rule. You had the manna, which is the food that gives us life, right? Where
mm.
the Most High said, I'm like, it all starts to come together when you put all these scriptures together. And Gentiles don't get it. That's why, all of this stuff is happening and they're not doing anything. And you know why I think they're not doing anything? Because their judgment is set and there's nothing they can do. I don't
Listen,
think they
just the
can do
same way there
anything.
was nothing we could do. There was
Yeah,
nothing we could
exactly.
do except
Yeah,
accept it.
yeah.
There was. Did
And
you see the video? Sorry, I was just gonna say there was a video of some white guy that was on. I can't remember. It might have been Nanya Sim, and he was basically talking about. There was a sister that was breaking down the scriptures, talking about how we're not bothered about this whole segregation thing because we need to separate. And she was basically bringing out certain truth, and he was on there with his feelings, talking about something about, I don't know, Gomer, Hosea marrying Gomer and whatnot, and how um, how we are we're just being emotional, and he doesn't care about how we're going through genealogies and stuff like this. And I'm listening to him, and I'm thinking, you're so serpent tongue. Of course you don't care about that, because like every one of these people have literally they want to ignore the Old Testament, except for things like, oh, give me your money, and all the other promises that kind of they can use to say we're being blessed because we're Israel, because we're spiritual Israel, because the church is Israel, and we're Christians and we're believers. And for some reason, the Most High got rid of you people, but he's going to take on us, and he's never going to let us go, even though we've caused the most harm in the world today. He's not going to hurt us. He's going to get rid of his people, and he doesn't care anything about his people. Although the only people that you really hurt was yourselves, and you peed off the Most High. But you're done with. The Most High's done with you, but he's going to celebrate us. Now I ask, and I'm not trying to be facetious, but I know I can say this with a surety because I know my Father. But who would serve a Most High if he did that with his people and expect him not to do the same to you? Who would? Who would? If he disowned his own people, right? That he
Yep.
said, I love so much. I love them so much, but he threw them away. And all they did, not all, I'm not belittling, but what they did is they did what they did, but the sins you've done is global and astronomical. It's so bad that you've literally hidden and burnt there's so many things that we don't know, right? But yet you get to say, beam me up, Scotty, up and away, and think you get to live your best life up there as you're living it down here while you subjugate the whole world. You people are tapped in the head. Like there's something strange going on in that noggin of yours. If you truly believe that the Most High will cast out his people and say, we're done, he's done with us, but now I want this particular group of people to sit at the head, and then everybody else trickles down, and then my people's at the bottom. But even with that same mindset, these are the same people that want to turn around and say there's no hierarchy. The jokes write themselves.
Yeah, they're not ready for what's coming. And just as you said, we weren't ready for what came our way because we couldn't stop it. Though the Bible said, though we cry and seek the Most High, he wouldn't hear us. And that's where they're at. They're at that point right now. They can cry all they want, but the Most High is not going to hear them. And, as Paul stated, right? Be careful for boasting against the natural branches, because he might do to you and cut you off like he did us. So, but they don't believe that, right? They only see the positive and the good stuff and, the candy coated popcorn and all that stuff. They don't see all of the judgment and the hypocrisy that they have that's being judged, right? So,
Yeah, but
I think
but the irony of this man is that he basically pointed to, you need to read Romans chapter 11, and I'm like, that's how ignorant you are. You literally called out Romans chapter 11. You just quoted Romans chapter 11, and he was trying to tell black Israelites, because he said, use the term BHI, and he said that, yeah, it's about Romans 11 and this, that, and the other, and all because they literally cherry pick verses because they cannot understand. They never read the fullness of it. So the fact that you can turn around and tell us to read this, and you haven't read and understood it yourself, if we broke it down to you and explained, no, it's actually talking about you. Yes, it talks about us, but then it goes to you. It basically says, if I did this to my people who have broken my laws, what do you think I'm going to do to you?
exactly. And that's what the scriptures state, and they don't believe it, right?
No, they
And
don't.
then here's the other thing. They think they're the saints in the New Testament, right? They don't know that the saints is the chosen, it's the bloodline. Right? So that messes up their doctrine right there, right? And what gets me the worst is the raccoonish Israelites who don't know they're Israelites, right? Who Christians. Ain't nothing worse than the raccoon. I'm sorry. Them raccoon drive me, because I think they're part of the reason our people are so slow waking up, right?
No, I agree with you. I know quite a few of them, and all I have to do is, like, even in my family, I'm done. I literally said, when the ish hits the fan, I'm not warning people. Don't come at my door. Don't start begging me
Yeah.
for a bowl of rice, because
Yeah.
I'm not helping you. I've been warning people, don't come at my door and say, can you spare me some? Like, you want me to take the food out of my children's mouth to give to you? No. Go.
Yeah.
Go beg Egypt. Go beg Babylon. You trusted them with the Juki Jam Jam thing. Go trust them with this. Get them to fill your bellies. I'm telling you, people, honestly.
Yeah, because when that dollar not worth anything anymore, everybody gonna feel uncomfortable then. Because a lot of people still have enough money to survive. But when they become sort of like the Venezuelan immigrants, the Mexican immigrants, and everything start being pulled from underneath them, and they like, and if you notice with the Mexican in them, they had a short window to get out. And the ones who stayed, now they don't know if they're going to get out without going to detention camps. Right.
Yeah,
So it's like, even if they want to leave, they might end up in a detention camp, So
aren't they going straight? Yeah, where is it in
El Salvador?
That's it. Yeah, like that's crazy. That's crazy. I'm not. I shouldn't laugh, but it's kind of funny. That MAGA nut that literally married his wife. Yeah, went to went to not Cuba. I think it was Puerto Rico. Went over there, came back, and she got pinched. She got snatched up. It's like,
really, I didn't even catch that one.
You didn't? This is like, what, about 2-3 weeks ago, almost a month ago now. This happened. Like, and then he's like, he's still saying like he voted for that. But they always think that not my one. And it just shows it's so funny because, oh my gosh, this whole MAGA stuff shows the entitlement and the mindset of the individual. It's the individualism, right? It's me, 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 me. I don't care about the collective. Me, mine. And the funny thing is, of course they think that, because that is exactly that is Christianity. Remember, Christianity taught us it's like, it's not the Bible says, the Most High says, I deal with nations. What do they say? No, it's about the individual. You're naughty and you're naughty and you're naughty and you're going to hell. You're naughty.
Yeah.
But then when it says like, that you are the border of the Esau is the border of wickedness, meaning you are wicked. Every wickedness that can be found on the earth, you border it. It comes from you. You are the border of wickedness. So it's like the Most High is literally showing this nation, this people. Then you go to Genesis where it says, I'm going to judge that nation will I judge. And although, yes, it's talking about your space, but it also is referring to nation as in ethnos, as in ethnicity. This ethnicity, this group of people, I'm going to judge them. Why? Because they've done this to everyone, all on the earth. Wherever, it's funny because wherever they are, that's where we find ourselves. And it's like, did they scatter us there, or did we try to escape them and they followed us? As it literally says in Revelation, where the dragon followed or chased the woman. Because it's like, yeah, sorry, go
So
on.
in my brother's book, they literally followed us, right? It shows, and so they tried to take over our identity in certain places and claim to be the ancient Israelites. But then it was proven that the Black Israelites had an older form of the Hebrew language and writing, right? So these particular scholars say, well, we believe that the blacks are the originals. This is all documented.
Yes. Because I remember I was listening to your, I've got your book, by the way. So, yeah. But,
Thank you.
I need to get Teo's book as well. But, yeah, there's probably a lot of things that is in there that I'm like, okay, so I kind of saw this and I knew this, and there's a lot of things that I think that there's a lot of things that we know, but it's given to us by the Spirit, and it's only when somebody comes out and they're showing evidence, and it's like, yeah, I knew this. I've always felt that way, and it's like, for me, when I hear people say that, and when I say that, and I hear other people say that, it's the excitement that I get. I feel so giddy, because it's like hearing people say that makes me feel like the Holy Spirit really is resting on our people. The Holy Spirit is really talking to our people. It's like this network of the Holy Spirit just connecting us, no matter how far away we are from each other. The Most High has allowed the Holy Spirit to connect us. It's like the best version of the internet, and it's baffling to them. It really must baffle them and terrify them, actually. If you spent 1,000 years of trying to eradicate the truth of who people are, and at the same time cover who you are, and then it's like the blanket has literally it's torn off of you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
You know what? Yeah. And you know what shocked me was when Trump and them put in detention the white Canadian woman and the person from Germany. The next, the one I'm looking to see is when an American citizen European American citizen, you know what I'm saying? End up in one of the detentions. That's going to flip this whole script, because a lot of them still MAGA supporters, right? And I would love to see a MAGA one end up eating the fruit of their vote,
Oh, yeah. They're already starting to, aren't they? And I
they're
think they
losing their
will.
forms and stuff.
Yeah. See that again, the individualism. Didn't care when it was anybody else. It's like they certainly didn't care if it was Black people. They definitely didn't care if it was Hispanics or Asians. And they didn't even care if it was white leftists, But now that it's starting to affect them, now they care. Now that they're seeing that they're losing their money, now they care.
Yeah,
The
I was watching
selfishness.
some TikTok videos, and this one lady, I didn't know he was going to do this to us. I'm about to lose my farm because all of the purchases of our wheat is by USAID, and he shut down USAID. I'm like, okay, see, y'all reaping now.
Exactly. And do you know what it's proven? I'm like, I just want to give you all a round of applause, because I tell you what it's proven. For years, they have operated and deceived the whole world and saying black people are dumb, black people are stupid, black people don't know what they're talking about, black people, da, 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 da. And do you know what's happened? Oh, they've just shown that the most intelligent people are the very same people who you've put down and said, you don't know nothing. And yet still 92 and 87, 80 something percent literally showed you, we know what's going to happen. We've been telling you from day dot when this man first came down the escalators. We told you this was going to happen, right? They've been saying this, but all of you voted. The vast majority of the country voted for this man, showing that the vast majority of you people are thicker than two planks of wood. And it's like, for me, it's like what I find so fascinating is that you see all these new, fresh white faces coming out saying, we told you. I'm like, who told what? You,
Yep.
how do I know you weren't on the other side? Because we know how these people love lie. We know how these people love lie. Like, I'm not one of them. Wasn't I? And it's like, stop playing. We know it was you. Because looking in their eyes, they always look slightly glossed. Like they look kind of high, but it's not high. They're just high on lies. That's all it is. If they look like they've taken something, it's not that they're on, the D word. It's just literally they're high on lies because they lie, and it has the same kind of effect on them. They lie and they get high, and it's like, yeah, and the eyes get wider and wider the more lies that come out of their mouth. It's like, yeah, like lies coming out. Oh, let me grab that back. Yeah, I voted for Kamala. Yeah, I'm like, you people are such liars. It's so funny. It's hilarious to watch. It's hilarious to watch.
Well, they're at the time of reaping, and I don't think we had much time anyway. But I want to thank you for coming on, Sister Chantel.
Thank you for having me, and I apologize for taking the spot for other people and didn't give them time to do it. So.
No, you're welcome your time, because you haven't been on in a while, so we have to have our little chat.
I haven't. So I had to grace everybody with my beautiful melodious voice.
Yeah.
But thank you for having me on, and shalom to everyone. And I hope everybody has a peaceful and just a happy Sabbath. So yeah.
All right. See you, Sister Chantel. Thanks for coming. Bye. So, fam, thank y'all, all the ones who came on the panel today. Really appreciate it. And I think these are interesting times. I think they're going to be difficult times as well. And whatever you do, I would say this: just be prepared, have a plan. That's what I've been saying from day one. Be prepared, have a plan to leave, right? Obviously we're not meant to stay here. Obviously Babylon is falling, and she's not going to be able to get back up. Israel, we fell, but we're going to be restored, right? The dry bones, but they're not getting back up. They'll never be seen again. That's what the scripture says. I find it very interesting how the scriptures are coming to life, right? It all makes sense, at least to me right now. I'm not saying I ever understand every single thing, but it's making a lot more sense. So, family, if y'all want to support us, you can by becoming a patron. You can give Cash App, $TOTW7101. You can also go to the tailministry.com website and click on the donations tab. There's other options. And you can also purchase my book and Minister Teyu's book. My book is True Jerusalem, Lost Kingdoms of the Israelites, and Mr. Teyu's book is They Always Knew We Were the Israelites. So, fam, time for me to go and get some rest. Still got a little headache, but doing a lot better. Love y'all. Peace out. Well, family, the wait is over. The moment has arrived where truth emerges triumphant from the shadows of history. Introducing the True Jerusalem, the Lost Kingdoms of the Israelites, the groundbreaking work by me, Yaakov Vale, a journey into the past that reshapes the future. I cut through centuries of misconceptions with piercing clarity
This book delivers a compelling case packed with evidence that commands attention and gonna get some respect. Come with me for a second, family, and discover how these thrilling civilizations flourished, protected by towering highlands and sustained by advanced engineering. Some have asked, where is Jerusalem? Is it the land in the Middle East? I say no. It is in the highlands of Ethiopia. With hours of groundbreaking research, this book brings in a new revelation, and it will transform your understanding of African history and its connections to the ancient world. It's going to remove from your mind the conditioning by the Romans of what has really happened to our past. Come with me, family, to the Ethiopian highlands and find out why this is our land. Why things have been hidden and obfuscated for centuries. We are royalty, children of the Most High. What kind of land do you expect us to have? Dried up dirt in the Middle East, or land flowing with rivers? A land full of beautiful animals flowing with milk and honey. Don't miss out on this monumental unveiling. Grab your copy today and stand on the side of truth. Visit Amazon.com or www.tailministries.com to purchase your book and join Jacoby Vale's teachings on Tail Ministries. Family, your journey to a hidden history has now begun. So family, get your copy of True Jerusalem, The Lost Kingdoms of the Israelites today. Journey to the heart of Africa, where history and legend converge to reveal the forgotten kingdoms of the Israelites and the true location of Jerusalem.